Oh, should say this is a go. Should say this is a go. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Boy. Okay. That's you, my friend. Let's see. Tune in, folks. Tune in. Tune in. Turn up Bluetooth off.
Bluetooth disconnected.
Yeah. Anybody hear me? Good? Yo. Make sure my shit on. All right. Yeah, I'm on. I'm on. All right. Oh, man. Oh. All right. Message to the young men. Today is January 23rd, 2022. Right. Today is my 14-year-old's birthday. He just turned. He just turned 14. He's getting up there, right? 14. I spoke to him today. Finally, it's been a while. It's been a while, damn near a year, right? This is my message to you, and this is my message to every young man that's growing up, with or without a father. But this is mainly for the ones without a father in the house. The ones without a father in the house. Those are the ones that need to be spoken to the most. The most. Fathers and the young women, actually. The sons and the young women, actually. But I don't want to touch on the women tonight. I want to touch on the males. Pause. I want to touch on the male subject. Fellas, young men, if you haven't heard it from anybody else, make sure you timestamp this. July 23rd. It's 5:59, 6 o'clock basically. The world isn't going to tell you that it's never your fault. The world is going to tell you, young men, that it's always your fault. Your decisions, your actions, your mannerisms, your words, your you. The world will tell you, young men, it is your fault. Now, what you do with that is completely up to you to dispose of the stereotype, to actually become better, do what your fathers haven't done, and stay away from what your fathers didn't. Don't be a replica of your father because your mama chose poorly. Don't take in a replica of your mother because your father chose poorly. Because when it's all said and done, son and young men, the world will tell you it is your fault. It's never theirs. because of the way the laws are designed today, more than likely you'll find out when you get into the system that it's definitely not for you. It's definitely not for the best interests of you, that woman, or the child. Even when it comes to marriage. Even when it comes to marriage. Young men, I strongly encourage you to use your fathers, if you don't have a father in your life, use your father's examples that he set and didn't set for you as a good push to know what not to do. Because these women aren't going to tell you. They can barely tell you that anything is their fault, period, at all. Because in most cases, when a man is around, he'll tell you, look, son, look, young man, it's my fault, blah, 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 whatever have you. We'll be the ones to tell our daughters to not choose men like us, to not lay with men like us. But how many women would actually tell their sons to stay away from women like them? To put a condom on with women like them? Or just stay away, period, from women like them? Hardly any. They would escape accountability at every corner they can. So you, sir, as a male, you young man as a male, you have to protect your seed because they don't know how to protect their wombs. They don't know how to protect their wombs, young men, so you protect your seed. Because at the end of the day, once again, young men, the world will tell you that it's your fault. Young men, if you have to stay away from these women, talk to them from a distance. We clearly see what's going on with the Drake situation, even if it was consensual sex. That woman still took the initiative, the audacity. She had the audacity. Hey, Ashley. She had the audacity to dig through whatever the trash can or whatever have you, the condom was in, just so she can impregnate herself with a millionaire's child. And I want to elaborate on that. Just so she can impregnate herself with a millionaire's child. Now, y'all could say Drake should have kept his dick in his pants and period. But what's one of the things that you ladies and people, gentlemen too as well, like to say? Well, you should have put a condom on if you know you was going to fuck her. Okay, now when you put the condom on, well, he should have flushed it and this, that, and the third. That is his priority and prerogative to do and dispose of his semen the way that he chooses to. But now he's being sued because she took his sperm that was based with hot sauce and choose to inject it into her vagina. And if that was to stand up in court, they would say, well, and if she was to, let's say if he didn't do that and she had gotten pregnant, the judge would have definitely told you, well, if you didn't want to get her pregnant, you shouldn't have had sex with her. And Drake could have said, I used the condom, I used protection, I threw it in the trash. The judge wouldn't believe that for one fucking flipping second. The judge would have been like, well, how did the semen get in her? I don't know. She must have did blah, 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 blah. And being that he's a high-profile celebrity artist, they would want to drain him because there's a court fee that they will receive as well within that lawsuit, especially in child support. So now Drake has to go to court to fight what that woman has done with his semen after he chose to dispose of it the way that he wanted to, and it was not in her, it was in an emergency contraceptive. He is under fire, and they're basically saying it's his fault because he shouldn't have laid down with her, period. Moral of that is, fellas, the world will tell you, like I said, the world will tell you that it's your fault because you are a man and because of what they can get out of you. It's come to the point where it's not even safe to have sex with women, period. And I think that's probably what the government is pushing, being with this whole forcing our children to see certain things. Like, I think they're trying to create a universal genocide to where it's the same-sex people only with the same-sex people, because you having men and laws that's scaring men into not being intimate and to not be sexually active with the opposite sex. And it ain't even golly. And it ain't even to the point of saying using protection is for your best interest, because of like I said, the Drake situation. These women can take your semen, your sperm, and do whatever they want with it, and they'll tell you that it's your fault because you should have kept your dick in your pants. You should have kept your penis in your pants. There's no way, shape, form, or fashion, if you was to go to court and the judge tell you that if you didn't want a child, you shouldn't have impregnated her. When in actuality, knowing you didn't. But once again, that woman at that time knows what she wanted to do with her reproductive organs. And that's what she chose to do with it. Is try to take a millionaire's child. Semen, sperm. So now what do we do, ladies? If the world is scaring men to not have sex with you, to scaring men to not be intimate with you, to not have sex with you, what are you going to do now, ladies? What can you do? The laws are skewed to your benefit, not to men's benefit. What if a bunch of men, what if damn near the whole population of men go get fixed? Even though it's a procedure that you can undo, so I was told. What if everybody chose to get fixed, and that'll rob you of your wanting to have a child? Once again, I think I would advocate for that, because at that time, that will be at his advantage, because you won't be able to use him. There's nothing you can do to this man unless you want to just claim rape or something like that. There's nothing you would do to this man to mess him up in his life, in his goals, and his dreams. But young men, I strongly encourage you to please watch what you're doing with your reproductive sack. Young men, please stay away from these women, because these kids are growing up in a city girl age now, in a situation to whereas it's a hot girl summer. Everything is their way, and if they happen to mess up, it still won't be their fault. It will be yours. What kind of life is that to live? For a woman, it's definitely good, because they can escape all accountability, period. They can. So, but young men can't. Young men, if you don't have a child now, and if you're sexually active, please wrap it up, dispose of the condom, take the condom with you, put it in a plastic bag, something. Take the condom with you. And please have sex with the one you actually want to be with. Because let them tell it, well, if you didn't want a child, you shouldn't have had sex with me. even though you didn't want her to be with me. Because they say now, what they've been saying, well, if you didn't want her the child, well, you should have put a condom on, or you shouldn't have had sex with her, period. So therefore, it's your fault, your fault, your fault, your fault. So now we're going to run with it, fellas. Let's run with it. Either we're going to stay away from these women, strap it up ×2, and just tell them to their face that we don't trust you. We don't trust you, even though you may be a good person or anything like that. Like, I just don't trust you because you are able to escape accountability at every turn. Every turn. And if it's not something that we agreed upon, if a child was to be procreated, my life is still in your hands, lady. My life is still in the court's hands, the law's hands, and it won't be to my advantage. How would y'all like it if men was to actually be upfront with women and actually tell you guys that? How would you like it if men was to say that I find you sexually attractive, but I don't trust you, so we can have sex, but at the end of the day, I do not trust you. Therefore, if we have consensual sex, at this point in time, you at any given time could say it's rape, and I'd have to prove that it wasn't. Hey, sis. What up, Sydney? I'd have to prove that it was consensual sex. And it's gotten to that point where it's that rough for men because our young men don't know what to do because the older men isn't in the house in most cases. So, young men, like I said before, I strongly encourage you to protect your seed because these women don't know how to protect their wombs. They don't. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it's your fault, fellas. The world will tell you it's your fault because you didn't protect your seed with people who has no accountability in their actions. They have none. The law tells them they have none. So what would you do? What do you get with an individual who has been alleviated from all accountability in law, in life, in just pure responsibilities if they choose to not adhere to what they have done? You leave them alone. What up, bro? What up, bro? What up, though? What up, though? What up, cuz? Fellas, you must protect your seeds because these women do not know how to protect their womb. They don't know when they're ovulating. They barely even know when their cycles come on, when it comes on, how long it's supposed to come on. They say birth control isn't guaranteed, which it isn't. It really isn't. But that's still a fighting chance. But once again, fellas, you must protect your seeds because these women ready for Mark Monday. Ah, you silly. You silly sis. I bet you are. I bet you are. I'm ready too. I'm ready too. Once again, young men, you must protect your seed. Because like I said, the world doesn't give these women accountability because they know that they are emotionally bound to their feelings, which means feelings can change, which is why courts go the way that it does, depending on the way the judge feeling. There should not be cases to where it's the judge's discretion, the judge's discretion that this could happen or that can happen. This could happen or that can happen, which shows that this is a very iffy system when you're dealing with the wrong person who's been put into a place of power, and somebody could just mess their coffee up that morning and they're pissed and they want to take it out on the world, namely the men, because they're an easy target because we can't seem to keep our dick in our pants. So, once again, young men, I strongly encourage you, if your father isn't around, if your mama haven't told you, more than likely she hasn't in most cases, keep your dick in your pants, because you don't want to run into women like your mother, and you don't want to be a man like your father. Not saying that he was a bad person, if he's a bad person, but once again, your mother laid down with that person, which goes to show the integrity that she had to give you a fucked up person for a father, which means she didn't know what to do with her womb. She gave it to the wrong person. But you will always be held accountable for what you do with your seed, not with what she does with her womb. Oh, it's your fault. It's your fault. You nutting me. It's your fault. Damn, well, I pulled out. You said you was on the birth control. You said you was on the pill. You said you was. Well, too late now. What are we going to do with it? What are we going to do about it? Well, I don't want to have a kid. What you want to do? Well, I'm going to keep it, but I'm not ready to be a father. You should have thought about that before you had sex with me, which is basically telling you, sir, young man, that your reproductive rights is null and void. Sir, your reproductive rights do not mean anything, because it's always her feelings, and her feelings matter the most. Because why? That is her child at the end of the day. It's not your child. Unless you go to court and pay for it. Okay? Unless you go to court to pay for it. But once again, you have to go to court to pay for it. If they say that it takes two young men, they say that it takes two, but they will hold your ass to the fire and hold you more accountable than she will. I know a lot of ladies probably looking like, well, what you mean, Marco? There's women out here doing the damn thing, and da-da-da-da-da, and this, that, and the third. True. But that still doesn't negate the fact that there's so many other women out there who escaped motherhood. There's so many women out there who has had abortions. There's so many women out there who has taken the Plan B, among other things, that would save them from not being a mother. No one's saying anything about them when they don't want to be a mom. Picture this, ladies. When you decide that you want to be a mom, you're appointing someone as a father who possibly doesn't want to be there. And that's one of the worst feelings that a child could probably grow up knowing or thinking. Trust me. And now they probably have to go through their whole life and figure out later on in life that it probably wasn't the dad's fault. It probably was the mother's. And that's a whole lot of making up to do if they choose to make it up with each other. That's a whole lot of making up to do that's damn near impossible to do. You're asking for damn near the impossible. Because when that young child grows up, they are already, in most cases, who they are. Now you're just trying to guide or probably try to balance or trying to see how can you be a friend to this person you don't even know, because that person has grew up in a messed up situation that has been lied to. Fellas, protect your seeds. Young men, protect your sperm, because these women don't know what to do with their womb. Because like I said before, and I'll say it again, it's your fault. The world would tell you it's your fault. Because they are irresponsible with theirs, they'll want to put the accountability on you. So you, sir, protect your seed. I don't care how they feel about it. I don't care what they may say about it. They may call you gay. They may call you all kind of other shit. They call you gay anyway. They call you everything they want under the sun, especially if you're not doing what they want you to do, taking care of their bills, taking them to eat, picking them up, this, that, and the third. They already shitting on you. So why give them another reason to shit on you that you can't get out of? Basically being a father to their child because they was irresponsible with their womb. Sirs, you have to be responsible with your seeds because they are not responsible with their wombs. The government allows them to. They do. They do. I think that's all I got, man. If y'all got any young men out there, young sons, even share it with the young daughters that need to tell their brothers, their homeboys, their moms, matter of fact, their dads. I don't care. Share it. Share it. Tell them to protect their seeds because these women don't know what to do with their womb. They're very reckless and irresponsible with it. And they'll say it's your fault. All the while telling you, it takes two. It takes two. It takes two. But still telling you it's your fault. Make that make sense. Y'all have a good one.